Hello my dear students, the word mole was introduced by Wilhelm Oswald. So I hope you understood what do you mean by 1 mole. What do you mean by molar mass? 23 grams of sodium is nothing but 1 mole of sodium. Simple method of conversion of one form to other. I can tell it is a short question which is going to come for your exam. Hello my dear students, welcome back to the session 4 on the chapter Some Basic Concepts of Chemistry. Last class we had learnt about laws of chemical combination, atomic mass as well as about molecular mass. Today we learn about mole concept. In 1896 the word mole was introduced by Wilhelm Oswald. The meaning of the word mole in Latin is pile or heap. It's a huge pile or a heap. Okay. Mole was considered as a 7th base unit by International System of Units for amount of substance. So the SI unit for amount of substance is mole. Okay. So we'll see what is the definition. The SI definition of mole is 1 mole is the amount of substance that contains as many particles or entities as there are atoms in exactly 12 grams of carbon-12 isotope. What is 1 mole? 1 mole is amount of a substance which contains particles which is equal to the number of particles or atoms in 12 grams of carbon-12 isotope. Okay? Or in simple words, if I have to tell, 1 mole of any substance contains 6.022 into 10 power 23 particles. So what is it? 1 mole of a substance contains 6.022 into 10 to power 23 particles, and particles can be atoms, ions, or it can be molecules. What is it? 1 mole of a substance contains 6.022 into 10 to power 23 particles, and particles can be atom, or it can be ions, or it can be molecules. And this number is called as Avogadro number. Okay, more about this I'll explain in the next slide. We'll first finish up with 1 mole. So example, I told you 1 mole is equal to what? Avogadro number of particles. So for example, if I take 1 mole of oxygen molecules, that means it should contain Avogadro number of oxygen molecules. If I tell 1 mole of oxygen atom, then it should contain Avogadro number of oxygen atoms. Okay. So 1 mole of any substance should contain Avogadro number of particles. So I hope you understood what do you mean by 1 mole. Okay. Next is Avogadro number. It can be denoted as capital letter N, or sometimes it can also be written as Na. Okay. What do you mean by Avogadro number? It is defined as number of atoms present exactly in 12 grams of carbon-12 isotope. So the number of atoms in 12 grams of carbon-12 isotope was found to be 6.022 in 10 power 23 atoms, and this was called as Avogadro number. Okay, it's a very huge number. 12 grams of carbon contains these many atoms of carbon. Okay. Next is molar mass. What do you mean by molar mass? The mass of 1 mole of a substance in grams is called as molar mass. Okay, the molar mass in grams numerically is equal to atomic or molecular or formula mass in U. I told you, instead of U, if I write it as gram, then we call it as gram atomic mass or gram molecular mass, correct? The same thing is nothing but called as molar mass. That means 1 mole of the substance, 1 mole of substance is equal to its gram atomic mass or gram molecular mass or even gram formula mass. Okay, so I can tell molar mass of water. What is the molecular mass of water? H2O. Water is 2 plus 16, that is 18U. If I tell it in gram molecular mass, it is 18 grams. And this is also the mass of 1 mole of water. So I will write it as 18 gram per mole. Okay. Similarly, molar mass of sodium chloride is 58.5 gram per mole. So molar mass means what? The mass of 1 mole of a substance in gram is called as molar mass. Next we have is molar volume. Volume occupied by 1 mole of any gas is called as molar volume. Okay. Now it is 22.7 liters or 22.7 into 10 power minus 3 meter cube at STP. Okay. So what do you mean by molar mass? If you take 1 mole of any gas, it will occupy the volume of 22.7 liters. At which condition? At STP, standard temperature and pressure, that is 1 bar pressure and 273 Kelvin temperature. So at that temperature and pressure, if you take 1 mole of a gas, it will have the volume of 22.7 liters and it also will contain 6.022 into 10 power 23 molecules of the gas. Okay, so to just summarize that, it's a very important concept. You can get numericals based on this. So just for revision, again I've put up here what do you mean by 1 mole. See, 1 mole, if I am talking it in terms of mass, that is, it can be 1 gram atomic mass of an element, 1 gram molecule of the substance, or it can be even 1 gram formula weight of a substance. For example, 1 gram atomic mass or atom of elements, that is 12 grams is atomic mass of carbon. 12 grams of carbon is nothing but 1 mole of carbon. 23 grams of sodium is nothing but 1 mole of sodium. Similarly, 18 grams of water is nothing but 1 mole of water. 44 grams of carbon dioxide is nothing but 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Similarly, even for formula mass, we can tell this way. That is in terms of mass. Now, in terms of volume, this we can tell only in the case of gases. Okay. So, if the substance is a gas, then 1 mole of a gas will occupy 22.7 liters of volume. Okay. So, 1 mole in terms of volume is only when it is a gas. Okay. At STP. Next is in terms of particles, that is 1 mole of a substance contains how many particles? It contains 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 particles. So I hope you understood. Once again, I'll take an example and explain. For example, I have 12 grams of carbon. This is nothing but 1 mole of carbon, correct? It's 1 mole of carbon. Also, 12 grams of carbon contains 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms of carbon. Okay. So, if I have to tell 1 mole of carbon, in terms of grams when I tell, I can tell it is equal to 12 grams. In terms of particles when I tell, I can tell it is equal to the Avogadro number of particles. And if it is a gas, 1 mole will be occupying 22.7 liters at STP. Okay, so that's about mole concept. Next we have the relationship between moles, mass, number of particles and volume of a gas. Now before I come into this particular chart here, there is simple method of conversion of one form to other. Okay, how? I'll take an example and explain. For example, 36 grams of water I have got. Now I want to calculate or convert 36 grams in terms of moles. Okay, I want to find out how many moles is 36 grams of water. What is the molar mass of water? 2, that is atomic mass of hydrogen, 1 into 2 is 2 plus 16 for oxygen, so it is 18 U or 18 grams per mole. Okay, so 1 mole of water is weighing 18 grams. How many grams of water do I have? I have 36 grams. So how many moles? Just cross multiply, you will get the answer. That is 36 divided by 18 is equal to 2. 36 grams of water is equal to 2 moles. Same way, if in same 36 grams of water, if I have to find out how many particles are there, then how do I do it? Now 1 mole is weighing 18 grams. I also know that 1 mole has 6.022 in 10 power 23 particles, correct? So 18 grams of water, which is nothing but 1 mole of water, contains 6.022 into 10 power 23 molecules of water. So how many grams do I have? I have 36 grams. Will contain how many particles? So it will be 36 into 6.022 into 10 to power 23 divided by 18. Okay, or 36 by 18 is 2 moles. 2 moles of water I already know. Into the Avogadro number, I am going to get the number of particles or number of molecules of water in 36 grams. So I can take the either way. Either I can convert 18 grams of water contains so much, 36 grams contains so much. But also I know 36 gram is equal to 2 moles. So to make it very simple, 1 mole contains Avogadro number of particles, 2 moles contains how much I can calculate. So either of the way, if I know to cross multiply and if my concepts are very strong, I have understood it really well, then it is really very easy for calculations. Okay, so we'll see this chart as well. If I know the number of moles and I want to calculate the number of particles, I have to multiply into Avogadro number. If I have number of particles and I want number of moles, divide by Avogadro number. Okay, similarly, I have number of moles, I want mass, then into molar mass. I have mass but I want number of moles, divide by molar mass. If it is a gas, then volume comes into picture. I have number of moles into molar mass. If I do, I'll get the volume of the gas at STP or in dm cube. If I know the volume of the gas in dm cube and want to find out the number of moles, just divide by molar volume. Okay, so this is the method of converting from number of moles to number of particles or volume if it is a gas, or to find out the mass. Okay, next we have percentage composition. Now what do you mean by percentage composition? If I have to find out the mass percent of an element in a compound, then I have to take the mass of the element in the compound into 100 by molar mass of the compound. Now, for example, I'll take water, H2O. Okay. Now, I want to find out the mass percent of hydrogen in water. In water, what is the mass percent of hydrogen? What is the mass of element? It is 2 into 1.008 divided by total mass is 18.02 into 100. I am going to get the mass percentage of water, which is nothing but 11.18. Similarly, we can also calculate the mass percent of oxygen, that is 16 divided by 18 into 100, which is 88.79. So if I know this formula, I can calculate the mass percent of an element in a particular compound. Okay. Next, empirical formula and molecular formula. What do you mean by empirical formula? Empirical formula represents the simplest whole number ratio of various atoms present in a compound. It gives us the ratio of the atoms present in a compound or a molecule. Okay. What do you mean by molecular formula? Molecular formula shows the exact number of different types of atoms present in a particular compound. To understand this, I'll take an example of glucose. Okay. Glucose has the molecular formula C6H12O6. Okay. When I tell molecular formula, I know the exact number of atoms present in that compound. I know 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms and 6 oxygen atoms are making up one molecule of glucose. Thus, this is the molecular formula. But if I just take the ratio of carbon is to hydrogen is to oxygen, I can see that it is 1:2:1 ratio. So I can also write it as CH2O, which is nothing but the empirical formula. Empirical formula is just telling us about the simple ratio of the atoms in a molecule. I know carbon is to hydrogen is to oxygen ratio is 1:2:1 in glucose. Okay, but it is not telling us about the exact number of atoms in a molecule. Now, if we take the same empirical formula and if I multiply it with one number n, then I can get the molecular formula. More to understand about this, we'll see here. Molecular mass is equal to n into empirical formula mass. Now, if I just rearrange this, I'll get the value of n as molecular mass divided by empirical formula mass. Now, if I know the value of n, then empirical formula into n is equal to molecular formula. So, how do I get this value of n? That is molecular mass by empirical formula mass. Okay. So, using this, we shall solve a numerical, and from the exam point of view, this particular type of numerical is very important. I can tell it is a short question which is going to come for your exams. The first numerical: compound contains 4.07% of hydrogen, 24.27% of carbon and 71.65% of chlorine. Its molecular mass is 98.96 grams. What is the empirical formula and molecular formula? They have given us the percentage of the element which is present. Okay. Now, if you put this table, it is very easy to get the empirical formula. Once you get the empirical formula, you can calculate the value of n because the molecular mass is given. Okay. We'll see what we have to put up in the table. First we write the element. Symbol if you do not write also there is no problem. You can write the percentage of element which is already given to you all in the question. Then you have to write the atomic mass of the element. Here we have hydrogen which is 1, carbon is 12, chlorine is 35.5. Next two columns you are going to find out the number of moles of element. How is it? It is percentage composition divided by atomic mass. What is it? Percentage composition by atomic mass. So 4.07 is the percentage composition, divide by 1, I got 4.07. 24.27 divide by 12, that is atomic mass, I got 2.022, and 71.65 divide by 35.5, I got 2.018. So I got the moles of the element. To get the simple molar mass, I write down these three numbers, that is 4.04, 2.022, 2.018. Out of these three values, which is the smallest value? Okay, that is 2.018. Now divide all these three numbers with the smallest value. Okay, that is 4.04 divide by 2.018, 2.022 divide by 2.018, 2.018 divide by 2.018. So this is equal to 1. When I divide this, I'll get it as 1.0019 and this I'll get it as 2.01. Rounding it off, this is 2, this is 1 and this is 1. Okay. So my empirical formula is hydrogen is 2, carbon is 1, chlorine is 1. So this is the empirical formula which I can write it as CH2Cl. Now can I find the empirical formula mass? Yes. How? Carbon 1 atom into 12, hydrogen 2, 2 into 1, and then I have chlorine 1, so 35.5. Now I add up this, I'll get it as 49.5. This is empirical formula mass. Now I know the molecular mass, I know the empirical formula mass, so I'll calculate the value of N. So N is equal to molecular mass by empirical formula mass, which is equal to 2. Thus, I have the empirical formula CH2Cl into N. What is N? I got it as 2. So it is CH2Cl into 2, that is nothing but C2H4Cl2. This is the molecular formula C2H4Cl2. Molecular formula also we got, empirical formula also we got. This question is very, very important for your board exams. I can tell it is a short question for your boards. It's very important. If you put up this table, it is very easy to solve. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Next, stoichiometry. What do you mean by stoichiometry? Stoichiometry deals with the calculation of masses, sometimes even volume, of reactants and products involved in the chemical reaction. So what is it? In stoichiometry, we are going to learn about the calculation of masses of the reactants and products. Now in a reaction, okay, for example, I have methane reacting with oxygen to give carbon dioxide and water. In this equation, whatever we are writing on the left hand side, it's called as reactants. These two will combine with one another, or I can tell they'll react with one another to give carbon dioxide and water. So these are the products. Reactant react to give products. Okay. The arrow mark indicates the direction of reaction, that is these two are reacting, these two are the reactants to give these two products. It is indicating towards the products. Sometimes if it is a reversible reaction, the arrow mark can be like this. Okay. What do you mean? The reactants can react to give products, products can again react to give back the reactants. That is the meaning of such arrow mark if it is written in an equation. Now the numbers, what is there? 2, what I have written, okay, it is called as coefficient or stoichiometric coefficient. That is nothing but we are using these numbers to balance the number of atoms to be equal on the reactant side as well as the product side. Now you can see here I have 4 hydrogen atom. Here I have only 2. To balance the hydrogen atom I add 2 molecules here. So 2 2s are 4 hydrogen atoms. It is balanced. Next, carbon, we'll see. I have 1 carbon atom on the reactant side. Product also I have 1 carbon atom. Last we have left with oxygen. Oxygen, I had 2 here, but then as I have put here 2 oxygen plus 2 became 4. To balance that, 1 more 2 is added onto the reactant side. So 2 2s are 4 oxygen atoms here. Here also we have 4 oxygen atoms. So the number which we use to balance a chemical equation, we call it as stoichiometric coefficient. Okay. Now what do you understand by balanced chemical equation? That is, this particular equation if I look into, here you see 1 mole of methane. I do not have any stoichiometric coefficient, no numbers are there, that means it is 1. Okay, so I have 1 mole of methane is combining with 2 moles of oxygen to give 1 mole of carbon dioxide and 2 moles of water. So I can tell it in terms of moles, or I can tell that 1 molecule of methane is reacting with 2 molecules of oxygen to give 1 molecule of carbon dioxide and 2 molecules of water. So I can tell it in terms of molecules. Next, I can tell, when I know moles, I can tell it in terms of mass. So CH4 has mass of 16. So 16 grams of methane is reacting with 2 into 32 grams of oxygen to give 44 grams of carbon dioxide and 2 into 18 grams of water. So I can tell it in terms of mass. Also, if it is gases, then I can also tell it in terms of volume. Okay, provided it is all are in same conditions of temperature and pressure. So I can tell here 22.7 liters of methane reacts with 45.4 liters of oxygen to give 22.7 liters of carbon dioxide and 45.4 liters of water. Okay, so from a balanced chemical equation, I can tell the reaction in terms of mole or in terms of molecule. Once I know the terms of moles, I can also convert it into terms of volume or in terms of mass. So using this concept, we are supposed to solve some of the numericals. So we'll see which are the numericals which you need to know. First one, calculate the amount of water, brackets it's given as grams, produced by the combustion of 16 grams of methane. So they are asking us to calculate the amount of water in grams which is produced when 16 grams of methane is undergoing combustion. To solve this problem, first you need to know to write the equation. Methane is an hydrocarbon, correct? So it is CH4. Combustion means it is reacting with oxygen. Now, a hydrocarbon, when it is undergoing combustion, it will always produce carbon dioxide and water. Okay, this is first what is the reaction. Next, what you're supposed to do is supposed to balance. So here we have 4 hydrogen atoms. To balance, I will put 1 2 here, 2 2s are 4. Now I have only 2 oxygen atoms on the reactant side. Product side I have 2 plus 2 4. So I'll have to add one more number, that is 2, and carbon is already balanced. So now I have got the balanced chemical equation. Now I'll say the problem. Calculate the amount of mass. So I have mass of water I want to get and I have got mass of methane. So it is mass to mass relation I require. So from this equation I get to know 1 mole of methane will give 2 moles of water. Correct? 1 mole of methane will give 2 moles of water. I am not bothered about oxygen and carbon dioxide because that is not there in my question. I am just seeing the relationship between methane and water. Okay. Now what is the mass of 1 mole of methane? It is 16 grams, that is 12 plus 4. It is 16. What is the mass of water? 1 mole of water is weighing 18 grams, but here I have 2 moles of water. So 2 into 18. Correct? So 16 grams of methane is giving how much water? It is giving 2 into 18 grams. This is the question. Already they have asked. 16 grams of methane itself is asked. So I don't have any conversions here. 16 grams of methane is giving 2 into 18 grams of water, which is nothing but 36 grams of water. So I have already got my answer, that is 36. Okay. Next one. How many moles of methane are required to produce 22 grams of carbon dioxide after combustion? So it's the same equation, but they are asking a different relation. Okay. So I'll write the equation again. Methane plus oxygen. Methane is undergoing combustion, that is reacting with oxygen to give carbon dioxide and water. To balance, I already have balanced in the previous problem, so I know it is 2 and 2. 2 for oxygen, 2 for water. Okay. Now we'll see the question, what exactly, which relation I want. How many moles of methane are required? So how many moles of methane is required to produce 22 grams of carbon dioxide? So methane and carbon dioxide I have to take into consideration. So I know from the equation 1 mole of methane will give 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Okay. Mass we will see. 1 mole of carbon dioxide is 44 grams. Correct? It is CO2 12 plus 2 into 16, which is nothing but 44 grams. Okay. So 1 mole of carbon dioxide is weighing 44 grams. But methane, I don't want the mass. See, they are asking how many moles itself. So I'll keep it as it is. So I'll write it as 1 mole of methane is giving 44 grams of carbon dioxide. But I require only 22 grams of carbon dioxide. So 22 grams of carbon dioxide, if I have to get, how much of methane I have to burn. Okay. That is 22 into 1 I am not writing, divide by 44. That is nothing but 0.5 mole of methane is required. So I hope you have understood this problem, how to solve it. Next class, we will be learning about limiting reagent and units of concentration. So I hope you have understood today's class. We have covered up very important concept, that is empirical formula as well as mole concept. Okay. See you next class. Stay curious, stay focused. Thank you, my dear children.